What's up, journeyers? Welcome to day one of Cultivating Wealth. I could not be more excited for this workshop. I've had so many conversations this week about what wealth looks like, what wealth feels like, what people will do when they create wealth. And I'm super excited to start planting seeds in your hearts and in your minds about what cultivating wealth is really going to look like for you guys. So I'm going to give it just a second for people to jump on because I do want people to be part of it. But I will tell you, I'm starting to get really fired up about this idea of cultivating wealth. Hey, Angela, I'm starting to get really fired up because I am seeing people have conversations about money that are making my blood boil. And I'm like, this is why I'm here. Like, this is why I was put on the earth, right? Oh, thanks. Thank you. Angela said I'm looking fired today. Thanks. It's the yellow. It does the thing. So, as you're jumping on, say hello. And I wanted to start, and you guys, if you're watching the replay and you're just catching this, just know that everyone else who's already watching this live has already gotten this, and they're already a step ahead of you. I'm just kidding. So here's the thing. Normally when a workshop like this, you're like, okay, I'll come to day one and day two, but like really day three, like that is when we're really going to get like the important parts, right? Where you're just like, I have to do the whole thing to actually get the part that like matters, right? So I'm not all about that. And I decided I am actually going to start today, going to start day one with the one big, massive result that everyone's here for. Are you ready for it? If you're ready for it, let me know. Let me know. Because this is the thing. You don't have to wait. This is all truth. It's truth right now. And I'm going to share it with you. The number one thing you're going to learn this week, if you take nothing else away from this 3-day workshop, is you can build wealth starting now. No matter where you are, you can and you deserve to build wealth. There is not a single situation in which it is literally impossible for you to build wealth. You can do it. You can do it. I don't care if you're sitting there with not enough bills, not enough money to pay groceries, or if you're sitting there thinking like, I make all this money, but I keep blowing it, right? No matter where you are in your money journey, you can and you will and you deserve to build wealth. If you take nothing else away, take that. That's right, Angela. You can build wealth now. Okay? So, throughout this 3-day workshop, we're going to talk about how, right? We're going to talk about what that looks like. We're going to talk about steps you can take. We're going to talk about how to start cultivating wealth in your world no matter where you are. But I need you to immediately, right now, receive and accept that you can build wealth. Because if you go through this whole 3-day workshop thinking, I can't do it, and I don't know, and it's so hard, and I don't make enough money, and my bills are too high, and I'm always broke. If you go through the Cultivating Wealth workshop with the mindset that you can't, then you're right. So right now, before anything else, I want you to stop. I want you to put it in the comments like Angela already did. I can build wealth now. Okay? Now, I have to know, because I see that Angela's here, but it's actually not telling me that there's anybody watching. So if you are watching, say hi. But I have to know, are any of you guys plant people? You know those people who's like, they have like all the succulents and they have like trees in the corner of their house and like, you're just like, they're plant people. Are you a plant person? Do you have a green thumb? So I have my best friend from college, actually, is a dear friend of mine. She's actually a registered dietitian, but plants and like gardens and gardening is like her thing. She loves all things plants related, right? And so I was actually talking to her about all of this. I was talking to her about the idea of using the analogy of planting and cultivating for building wealth. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is so good, right? Angela, I kill all plants. Me too. We have a basil plant that was like already grown and I've let it die. It's a problem. So I was talking to her about this, and it was so powerful to just have a conversation with somebody who really knows what's going on with plants. Because here's the deal with this analogy. When you're talking about cultivating and harvesting and crops, right? You don't just like suddenly walk out to your fields one day and have tons of corn ready to harvest. That's literally just not how it works, okay? That's not how it works. You don't just suddenly have crops to harvest. There's so much involved in it, right? And even if somebody gifts you, right? If somebody just like knocks on your door and is like, hey, I wanted to bring you all this corn. And you're like, yes, I have all the corn. If you actually want a wealth of corn that lasts, that continues, then you can't just use up all the corn, right? You have to actually do something else, even if it's corn that you were gifted, right? This is why you look at like talking money. If you look at like lottery winners, like 75% of lottery winners end up declaring bankruptcy because they just spend all their money, right? And they're like not paying attention to what really has to happen, right? And there's a ton of other psychological things that go into that too, but I won't go there. So understand that if you want to harvest a crop of wealth, if you want to cultivate wealth, you cannot expect to just wake up one day and it's there. There's a lot that's involved. You have to cultivate the soil. You have to till it up. You have to plant the right seeds. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. You have to water them. You have to make sure they get sun. You have to pull weeds so they don't choke out their roots, right? There are so many things involved in harvesting a plentiful crop, right? When it comes to actual planting. And so tomorrow, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how all of those pieces actually connect to building wealth. You guys actually all had some really great ideas. I loved some of the guesses that you guys had and all the ideas you guys had about all of the different types of like connections, right, between money and wealth and planting and harvesting. So that was great. Got to sow those seeds. Yes, exactly. So of all of those things though, and this is where having this conversation with my friend Katie was so important, of all of those things, cultivate the soil, till the soil, plant the seeds, water, get them sun, pull the weeds, all those things. What do you think in the plant world is actually the most important part? And this was really cool when she told me this because I was like, yes, exactly. What do you guys think is the most important part in the plant world? Cultivating the soil, tilling it up, planting the right seeds, watering, getting sun, pulling weeds. What do you think is the most important part in the plant world? It's probably not what you think. I do want Angela, at least Angela, I need you to guess. What do you think is the most important part in the plant world? It's really interesting, and I was glad that she told me this, my friend Katie, because I think a lot of people have different perceptions of it, right? And so she actually shared with me that the most important part of the planting and harvesting process is, yes, Laura, you got it, is the soil. It's cultivating good soil. Cultivating good soil is the most important part of the planting and harvesting process, because if you have seeds and you just like dig some random hole in the ground and shove a seed in it, you might get a sprout and like you might get a little bit grown, but are you going to get a plentiful crop? No, because you have crappy soil, right? And there's all of these other things, right? Even if you water it, even if it gets sun, even if you pull the weeds, if you have crappy soil, it's not going to grow, right? All of the things are important, but even if you had every single one of the other things in place, cultivating the soil is the most important, because even if everything else is perfect, if your soil is shit, it's not going to work, right? Now, next guess for you guys that are on here, and if you're watching the replay, we all made those guesses this weekend about the connections between farming and wealth, right? You guys all had some incredible guesses. So I want you to guess again. What aspect of building wealth do you think is, Angela, you're ready to plant. She got ahead of herself. She's like, I just want to plant now. Exactly. So what aspect of this wealth building process do you think equates to cultivating the soil? Angela, fire. Angela, on it. Cultivating the soil in this wealth building process. The soil is you. And I know what you're thinking. Those of you who are on here for like investment ideas and like wealth building strategies are like, stop it with the mindset bullshit, right? You guys, it's not bullshit. It is legit. It is so real. You and your mindset and your energy and who you are and the things that you do and think and believe is the soil upon which and in which we will be able to cultivate wealth. It is. You are the most important component of your wealth building process. And I'm giggling as I say that because that's the first time I've said that out loud. And my coach says, you are the most important component of your business. And now I'm going to cry because it's real. Shit, I'm crying. You are the most important component of this wealth building process. Okay? And this is how I treat all of my clients. You are the most important component of this. What do you want, right? So how do we cultivate soil, cultivate good soil in our mindset, in our hearts and our spirits? I will tell you, this week, I got a little bit up on a pedestal and I got a little up on my high horse about people shaming people for having wealth. I may or may not have been a little pissed off. And I think I was pretty nice about it. If you read my post, I did call them assholes. But these people who, when you celebrate a win, like, I made $10,000 in my business this month, right? And they're like, oh, can I have some? Stop, right? Or I know somebody, she is a realtor. She is a fire realtor. She's freaking amazing. Her and her husband own a brokerage. They are so good at what they do. They're so good at making connections in the community. And they are millionaires because they're doing so, so, so well. She posted on her profile this last couple of weeks that they've decided to add another income stream to their world, and they are franchising a little like food place and a food truck. And they're super excited about it, and they got selected for the franchise, right? And when you look at the comments when she announced that they were getting this franchise, so many people, and I will admit, I don't know these people. These are her friends and her people, and maybe they didn't mean anything by it, right? But so many people made comments about like, what, do you not have enough? Greedy much? I literally saw a comment that said greedy much. And I just wanted to scream because there's so much about our culture and the things that people say to us and around us and even about other people regarding wealth that makes us feel as though we should not build wealth. And it's not right. And it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. It is the freaking crab in a bucket bullshit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When you have a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one person tries to crawl out, or one crab tries to crawl out, the crabs just pull it back into the damn bucket, right? It's like, well, if I am not wealthy and can't seem to get that successful, then you shouldn't be allowed to do it either. And it's crap, y'all. It's crap, and it's not okay. So number one, I want you to know is that I stand against wealth shaming. I want to see you wealthy. I want to see you far more wealthy than I am. I want to see us all cheering each other on. I want to see us beating each other. I have a client who has a $1.7 million net worth. Okay. I love it. I'm not intimidated by it. I think it's fucking fantastic. It has to be. You have to start seeing wealth and celebrations of wealth and people succeeding. You have to, number one, celebrate with them. Celebrate it. Because that's what opens us up to receive it, is when we're just as happy for other people as we would be for ourselves, right? You have to celebrate when you see it. They have more money than they know what to do with. That is crap. Now, is it possible that someone could have a ton of money and not know what to do with it? Yes, that's what I'm here for, right? Because this is what we're going to talk about this week, is as you start cultivating wealth, is what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Oh, I can't. That's on day 3. Make sure you come back. We're going to talk about that, right? But start just celebrating with other people. That's your first step. Stop bringing other people down. Stop. There's jealousy and envy there, right? Because you just feel like, oh, I wish that was me, right? But when you can start shifting the first step of just celebrating with other people and being so excited for them, it will start to shift your mindset. That's the first thing. The second thing is you really have to start trusting yourself with the money that you have. And I talked about this on my stories, and I've talked about this before, that if you don't trust yourself with the money that you have, aka you have money, you don't know what to do with it, you're going to energetically and subconsciously shut yourself off, right? And so working on that mindset of how do I feel about wealth? And one of the exercises that I do a lot, which you guys can do right now, let's do it. This is one of the exercises I do a lot. I want you to close your eyes. If you're driving or doing something super important, please don't close your eyes. I know Angela is almost always driving with her multiple kids. So please don't close your eyes if you're driving. But if you can safely close your eyes, and I want you to get a word picture when I tell you this word. When I say the word wealthy, what do you see? What do you see? Drop it in the comments. I'm going to keep talking, but drop in the comments. What did you see when I said the word wealthy? What did you picture? What popped into your mind? What thoughts? What words? What images? What did you get? Because this is the thing. The first picture that you get when I say wealthy, where I talk about being rich or I talk about having wealth, the first picture that you get will give you an inclination as to where your mindset is on building wealth, right? Laura, a mansion. Okay, how do you feel about that mansion? What does that mansion feel like? Who lives in that mansion? Who lives in that mansion? This first picture that you get and the feelings that you have about it will be your first clue as to what your mindset is on wealth. Kim said, simplicity, house surrounded with flowers and sipping a tea. Oh my gosh, I love that. The simplicity is big for me. One of my big dreams in wealth is actually to sell everything I own. Just like, I want nothing. I want to just live in an RV, travel the world, and have less. I love that. I love that. That feels like a peaceful setting, right? So when you start to understand what are the pictures that you get about wealth, you understand what your mind actually wants to do, right? I have had people, when I do this exercise, when I say, what do you picture when I say the word wealthy? And they picture like Wall Street and they picture like old stuffy dudes in suits, right? Going, right? I'm like, okay, so your immediate thought about wealthy is like greedy and these like old stuffy white men, right? Right? Laura, such good insight. She said, I have a lot of work to do. I feel like an outsider when I see that, but I don't belong there. Such good insight. That's so good that you see that now, right? Because now you get to work through some of that, right? So that's a good exercise to do. Like, how do I really feel about wealth? So number 1 is celebrate with other people. And number 2 is start to trust yourself to build wealth. Start to trust how you're managing your money. Start to believe that you deserve to build wealth, because more money in the hands of amazing people is never a bad thing. The truth is, money just amplifies. Money doesn't create good people. Money doesn't create bad people. Money amplifies what already exists. Okay? So if you're a douche canoe, I don't want you in my program. I don't want to teach you how to build wealth. I don't want to teach you these things because I don't want you having more money because you're a douche canoe, right? But if you are passion centered, if you want to make a difference in the world, and again, we're going to talk about this on Thursday, but if you want to have this kind of impact, I want to show you every secret I know. And I want you to do better than me, because more money in the hands of amazing people is never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing, right? And having a mansion is never a bad thing, right? It's about the impact that you get to create, right? That is the third step. Desire. Start cultivating desire. What do you want to create? What do you want that to look like? What do you want to feel when you are wealthy, right? What do you want to feel now on your journey to wealth? Start to cultivate desire. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like? Okay? And then, of course, ignore the assholes, right? Celebrate your wins. And if people don't want to celebrate with you, forget them. We know that they're not on a path to wealth. Because here's the thing, you never see, like, well, Steve Jobs passed away, Lord rest him, but when he was alive, you never saw Steve Jobs talking shit about Jeff Bezos, right? You never see the millionaires talking crap about each other for being millionaires, maybe for other reasons, right? But no one's ever like, oh, Jeff Bezos isn't like, oh man, that, Steve Jobs, he's just a greedy whatever. You don't see it, right? They're excited for each other. I'm sure there are plenty of other reasons why they don't like each other. But you never see wealthy people upset at other wealthy people for being wealthy. That mindset is not a wealth mindset. The mindset that you shouldn't have, that you should give it away, that you should spread the wealth, that I should have more than you, like, that is not a wealth mindset. There is a reason that the people who say that about distributing wealth, okay, not the politicians, ignore them because they're just hypocrites, but the people who aren't politicians who say we should redistribute wealth, they're not wealthy. They want to redistribute wealth because they want it, right? So celebrate with other people. Start to trust yourself with the money that you have. Cultivate desire to create that wealth and ignore the naysayers and the haters because they just are greedy. They're just as greedy as they're claiming that you are. So put them in the back of your mind, let them roll off your back, and trust the action that you get to take. Okay? So, the most important piece of the cultivating wealth process is you. You are the most important component in your wealth building journey. So start cultivating that wealth mindset in yourself. And there are a lot of steps here, right? There are a lot of things that I teach in my program, like how to start trusting yourself with money, how to dream in high definition so that you really develop that desire for the wealth that you're going to get to create. On Thursday, tomorrow, we're going to talk in more detail about the components of this. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about the impact, right? And how to anchor into that. But there's so many more components here. And this is what I teach in my program and with my coaching. But start really thinking about you, your mindset, your feeling about wealth, your excitement about the wealth that you get to create, your excitement for other people and the wealth that they're creating, because it will shift your mindset. It will turn something on in you and make you go, oh, this is going to be good. Because I'll tell you, we increased our net worth by $50,000 from June of 2020 to June of 2021. I quit my job in October of 2020. We increased our net worth by $50,000 even though I decreased my income. This is what cultivating wealth looks like. Why was I able to do that? Because I desire to build wealth. I trust myself with the money that I have. I ignore stupid people who talk crap about people who build wealth, and I celebrate with people when they are winning with money because it's amazing. More money in the hands of good people is never a bad thing. It is a good thing. So, your homework for today. Your homework for today is to share in the group, and feel free to take a picture of yourself. Like, how do you feel when you think about being wealthy? Like, take a picture of yourself in that moment, right? Post that with your biggest takeaway from today. And also, what is the one action that you're going to take to start cultivating the soil that is you so that you can be more open and ready to receive wealth? So Laura talked about feeling like an outsider when she pictures like wealthy in that mansion. So maybe your action step can be starting to do some journaling around that feeling, right? Why do I feel like an outsider? Why do I feel like I don't belong there, right? And start to uncover those things. So post a picture of how you're going to feel when you're wealthy with your biggest takeaway from today and the action step that you're going to implement now, to start cultivating you, to start turning on that wealth mindset, to start getting excited about the things that you get to create because you are wealthy. Hi, Brooke. I'm so glad you're on. Yeah, we're almost done. So then you can pop back to the beginning. But I'm so glad you're here. So that's it. That's your homework. Remember the giveaway. Everyone who does all 4 pieces, so it's the initial challenge of going back and watching a previous Tuesday live training and posting your big takeaway from that, because we're always learning when we're in wealth mindset, right? Then your homework from the 3 days. So all 4 pieces. Everyone who does all 4 is going to get my net worth calculator tool. And we'll talk tomorrow about net worth and the components of that, right? But it's just an objective measurement, right? But it gives you a picture of where you're at. And then one of those people is going to receive a 30-minute call with me to evaluate their net worth and help give them some more guided action on exactly what to do to start increasing it, because that's how we get wealth, right? So make sure you drop your homework. Make sure you do that first challenge if you haven't done it already. Brooke has been on it. She already got it done. So I love you guys. I need you to hear me in this. And I know I say this a lot, but I am so honored and so blessed to be a part of your money journeys, because money really is a journey, right? There's a lot involved in it, just like cultivating plants, right? There's a lot of steps involved. There's a lot of things that are and moving parts, and to be trusted with this process for you, it is an honor. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me to help guide you on this cultivating wealth journey. And as always, trust yourself and enjoy the journey. And I will see you tomorrow.